Hello, good afternoon. This is Kelly from Kelly's Coffee and Crime Chat. Welcome. Now, it is Thursday, May 9th, and I have been so busy this week that I have not been able to prepare an episode for early access. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload this on the podcast because tomorrow's Friday, and I just have been so busy this week, but I've had this episode on my list for a while, and it appeared on 2020 a few months ago. So 2020 is one of my sources, abc.com and Detroit Free Press. But first I want to I keep forgetting to thank her, Misty Cotton Game, for subscribing to Spotify Premium. So thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying your 3 bonus episodes a month and the stickers I sent you in the mail and the other goodies I sent you in the mail as a thank you. And I really hope you're enjoying it. I am drinking Java Mama Choco Glazing. Choco Glazing is part of the donut collection that we had a while ago. It is so good. It's probably my favorite one in the donut collection, but I am a chocolate fan. It is my favorite. Besides peanut butter. So, I made a drink here and pull up your favorite brew, whether it's coffee, tea, soda, wine, beer, and get ready for this one. This is Jessica Heeringa. I hope I'm saying this right. It's Heeringer. Heeringa. I know I've heard him say it, but I just want to make sure I'm saying that right. And she was born July 16th of 1987, lived in Muskegon Township, Michigan, and it's a beautiful area up by Lake Michigan. The town is Norton Shores, and she really had, like I said, it was a beautiful area. She was a single mother, and she had a job in an Exxon gas station. Now, the night of April 26, 2013, she took over a shift for somebody. She was not supposed to be working on this night, and she always liked the job. And it was late at night, and gas station, it's not really safe. And I know it's a nice area, but you never know how safe it is working late at night in a place where customers are always coming in. But she never had a problem with it. She liked the job, and it was only like just over a mile from her home. So she was working that night, and she had about 15 minutes left in her shift. She was getting ready to close up. She started sweeping the floor. Well, a customer stopped to get gas, and when he came in, he noticed no one was inside the place. And this was just after 11 p.m. He called, asking if anyone was in there, and no one was there. So he knew something wasn't right. So he called 911, and this is awesome. So if you ever think something's off, call the police or someone, because he knew something was not right. But there were no signs of violence or anything like that when the police came. They were stumped. It really wasn't a crime scene, because it didn't look like anything was wrong. Now, Jessica was not there. Money was all still in the register. Her coat and her purse with $400 cash inside her wallet, untouched. And her car was there. Now, this gas station had no security cameras. And that's one problem right there. They can't look at the security cameras and find out where she went. So they really didn't understand what was going on. Now, they did find out that the last customer who actually came in and purchased something from Jessica was at 10:52. So whatever happened between 10:52 and like 5 after 11 or 6 after. So they did they kept searching, and looking closer, they did find something, and it was a drop of blood. And there was a witness they talked to that noticed a silver minivan behind the gas station. It was somebody else that came in. I don't know if it was someone else that actually came in to get gas, or they just drove by. But they noticed a silver minivan was parked behind the gas station, which was very strange to be parked the way it was behind it. Now, they put up flyers, and there were searches done to find her. And everywhere, flyers everywhere. They talked to everybody around the area to find out if something was going on, or if they saw something. So they also searched the parking lot. And upon further inspection, they found another spot of blood in the parking lot. It was on the ground behind the station where the car was seen, and 2 small wristwatch type of batteries, and a piece of plastic with the brand Carl Walther on it. Walther. And if anybody knows that name, it's from a gun. There was a cover. What it was a cover for a laser light that you would put on a gun to be able to point it easier and aim it. They knew it could be a .22 pistol or even a BB gun. So, there was another worker who at the Exxon gas station, who was out with her husband that night on a motorcycle. And she saw a silver minivan pull up around 11 o'clock at the gas station in the back. They just went straight to the back. It wasn't like they were looking around or anything. They pulled in straight to the back, turned off the lights. Well, her and her husband thought they were on their motorcycle, so they just stayed and waited for a little while to see if maybe someone was trying to steal something. So they sat and waited for a little while, and they saw the guy get out, go inside, and then all they saw, after that, was the hatch of the van pop up, and he was behind it, and then it looked like he was adjusting something, like he was messing around with something, and then closes the hatch, gets in the van, and drives off. Goes right by them. So they try to look exactly. Now they're on motorcycles, so they try to look to see if they can see who the driver is. And it was a guy, chubby, mustache, and so they drew up a sketch on what they saw. So the minivan is seen on other surveillance cameras in the area, from other businesses, going north, but then it disappears. It goes off the radar because it probably goes out of the range of the security cameras. So they start looking at people who frequented the gas station and, who would come in normally, when Jessica was working. And they also started getting into Jessica's private life. Now, the boyfriend, who was the father of Jessica's son, they go to him first. He talked to her about an hour before she went missing. Other men in her life included other boyfriends. One was a married man who was always at the gas station. Now, his wife came into the gas station once to talk to Jessica, but Jessica told her to leave. And she did. So this man was at the station not long before she disappeared, the married man. And he was talking to her about moving away with him, but she refused. She's like, I'm not moving away. Now, he was a suspect and his wife, but they both passed polygraphs. There was no evidence linking them to her disappearance, so they were cleared. Basically, and the boyfriend was cleared. So everybody was cleared. Tips came in, but none of them were Jessica. They kept saying these tips came in. They say they saw her in other states. Well, they followed up on them, and none of them were Jessica. A year went by, and the case went cold, which is so frustrating. Oh, it's just so frustrating. So a year went by. Now we're into June of 2014. And this is another part of Muskegon County. And a young mother was found dead laying on the side of a road, like in the road, but more on off to the side. And this, it was a mother and son, I think, is who found her. They were driving up on the road, and they came up on her, and so they called 911. They said, they think a woman got hit by a car. She's laying here. Her name was Rebecca Bletch, was this girl's name. And this happened on Automobile Road. That was the name of the road. She was dressed in activewear. She had been jogging. So, the police came to investigate. They found 3 bullet holes in her head at close range, pretty close range, and they were in the back of her head. And they found some bullet casings from a .22 pistol. Now, she was forced to put her belongings. This is what they're speculating here, that she was forced to put her belongings down on the opposite side of the road. They found like her sunglasses. She had like one of those like Fitbit. I call it a Fitbit, but it's the things that go around your arm, so you can track like your steps and all that. That was found. So there was some of her belongings were found on that side of the road. Maybe her phone was there too. I don't know, but they're thinking that he shot her. And then she was trying to crawl to the other side of the road. As she was trying to crawl, he shot her again and again in the back of the head. This is like they said on 2020. It's like execution style is what they did to her. So this was very sad. She had a little girl. So another young mother. Now the casings, police thought could be from a .22 pistol, Walther pistol, just like the one in Jessica's disappearance. Now, this woman's husband was the first to be suspected. He was cleared, and then it became an unsolved case. Like Jessica's, they couldn't link anybody to this crime. Then, April 2016, this was the following year, 2 years later. So, because Rebecca was killed in 2014. So April 2016, early in the morning, a 911 call came in from a home where teenager Madison Nygaard, Nygard, ran to this house. She was all scuffed up, cut up, ran to this house and asked, please call 911. So the lady of the house called 911 and they wanted to talk to Madison. She was hysterical, telling the police she was walking home from a party, and this was like early morning hours. She was out all night, but she got lost. And her phone was dead, the battery was not charged at all, and she was lost. She didn't know where to go. Well, here comes a silver minivan. This guy stopped and asked her if she needed help, and she said, I need a phone to call. I don't know where I'm at. So he says, well, go ahead, get in the car and you can use my phone. So she gets in. She didn't know what else to do. So he looked a pretty nice guy. She got in the car just to use the phone. Well, right when she got in, he took off. Locked the car doors. And she asked, where's your phone? Can I use your phone? He said, his phone is dead. He kept staring at her while they were going down the road. And she started getting freaked out. Okay, his phone's dead. He's staring at me. So he reached under his seat, somewhere under his seat, grabbed a gun. Pointed the gun at her. She's like, just let me out, let me out. Well, he wasn't going to let her out. So she was able to unlock the door. This must have been an older minivan, because nowadays, I don't think the cars unlock once you get up to a certain speed. Because it's a safety thing. Well, She got it open. She unlocked it, opened the car door, and jumped out. This is why she was all scuffed up and blood and cut up, because of her jumping out of a moving car. He stopped and got out. He goes, "I'm just kidding. It was just a joke, haha, joke." Well, no, she kept running. So he pointed the gun, pulled the trigger, but the gun jammed. And there's a reason for this, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. It jammed. He had to clear the jam. So when you clear the jam of a gun, the bullets fall out. And this is where he tried to do it again, jammed again, trying to clear the jam. Bullets fall out. Tried to clear you try to clear the jam to get the bullet out. Well, she ended up just running until she found that house. And she thought he was still out there. So the shells that, of course, he took off and left the shells on the ground that fell from him clearing the jams. There was a blueberry farm, a you pick it blueberry farm. This sounded so nice to me, because I'm like, oh, that would be so cool, where customers can go to this field, this farm, and pick their own blueberries. And there was a surveillance camera, and it was very clear. There was very clear close-up images of the van, and it only held, it was one of those security cameras that only held the information for so many days. I think it was like 30 days. Well, by the time the police found out about this blueberry field and that they had a security camera, the time was almost up, and they didn't have much longer to, so they really didn't have much hope that they had it on film, but they did have the minivan on film, and it was close up. Now, they had a circular driveway, so when, customers can come in and they can just go drive back out. And they saw him come up to the blueberry field, circle around into that circular driveway, and go back in the same direction he was in. The reason he did that, because he saw Madison walking and passed her, or pulled into that blueberry field and turned around and went back the other way to ask, if she was okay, or however he did it, so he must have seen her, and then, I'm going to turn around right here. I'm going to go back, see if she needs any help. And that's what he did. So, they were very happy, though, to get this close-up image of the van. But the only problem was they couldn't see the license plate. So what they did, and this was very, very smart, they did see that it was a Dodge Caravan. They got a hold of a car, I don't want to say used car salesman, but a dealer who had a shop, I guess, in the area. And he was very good, and he can look at these images and find out exactly what type of model this was. And he found out, because of the different features that you can see on it, that it was likely made in Canada. So they were able to narrow it down who had purchased this type of van in the area. And also Madison, since she was alive, she would be able to recognize this guy in a lineup. So they went through, they found out some of the people who had purchased this van. And he was in a lineup. She picked out Jeffrey Willis. And he was 46 years old. He was a regular at the Exxon station, always when Jessica was working. And now get this, they actually questioned this guy when Jessica disappeared. So it wasn't like they just missed him. They questioned him. He had no criminal history. He worked overnight at a furniture manufacturing place, so he would work overnight, stop and get gas or whatever, late at night. He was married, and he was even a grandfather. And he used to work at a school. First of all, he used to work at a school. I'll give you a little bit of his background. And in the 90s, he was a janitor at a school, and he got caught looking at the school's computer at porn sites. Yep. And, of course, he was fired. Now, when he comes in for questioning, he acts real casual. Now, this is when he comes in for questioning now, after Madison got away from him. He acts real casual, calm, voluntarily tells them he was talked to when Jessica went missing in 2013. They even searched his van back then, but found nothing. All they found was that it smelled of cleaning. Well, if it smelled of a cleaning fluid, like bleach or whatever, wouldn't that be a red flag? This is me talking. I would think that would be a red flag. They did not interrogate him enough, and his wife was his alibi that night that Jessica went missing. He said he was home with his wife. So, the only evidence they had against him was that he had a silver minivan, and he had been in the Exxon gas station when Jessica was working. But, like I said, his alibi, I don't know why they didn't... I'm trying to understand why they didn't give him a polygraph, but they gave the married man boyfriend and his wife a polygraph. Now, I guess because they automatically said she was his alibi, so he was good, but I don't know. Because this kind of upsets me, because then another girl went missing, and then this poor girl almost got killed. I mean, another woman got killed, and this young teenager almost got killed. And if they would have gotten him for Jessica's, if they would have really laid down the law, this is my word, lay down the law, and investigate him further and just kept on it, they would have probably got him. They could have got him way earlier. So, now when they're talking to him, they ask him, why was he... about Madison. First, they just start talking to him about Madison. He's like, I don't know. I don't know. And then they start talking about Jessica, and he's like, so you think I took her? I didn't take her. He's like, no. And then all of a sudden, he changes when they tell him they got his minivan on surveillance from a blueberry farm. And they want to know, what were you doing up at the blueberry farm, circling in the driveway, and then going around back the other way? And this is right at the time that Madison got in your car, and you tried to kill her, but your gun jammed. Anyway, they're telling him what they know, and he says, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to leave. But nope, they stopped him. He was not free to go, and they handcuffed him. They also, as this was going on, they were searching his house and his van. So, the reason, and I don't know if I have this written down here, but I was going to say, I think I do write it down. I'll wait till I get there. Okay. They found a J-hook, chains and rope, syringes, and a diagram of a body. And all of this was in a case he had together in his car. And the diagram of the body showed how to inject drugs into someone, like what points in their body to put a syringe in them. They also found his Walther .22 pistol. But when they were interrogating him, he said he owned a different type of gun, a different model, and that was the only gun he had. Now, when they found this gun, they found CCI ammo, and this is what I was going to explain. And right when I heard that, I knew exactly what they were going to say. CCI ammo, for some reason, jams in a Walther .22 gun. Walther .22 gun, for some reason, is the pistol is not very picky, but pretty picky on ammo. And CCI ammo, I was told one time, was the best ammo to get for your gun. I go out and buy the ammo, put it in my gun, jams. And I know that from personal experience. So right when they said the name of that ammo, I knew exactly why that gun jammed. And Madison was very lucky that he had that ammo in his gun. Because it's just funny that that ammo will not work in a wall. I don't know what it is. But it's supposed to be very, very, very good ammo. But It didn't work in mine. In my Walther gun. That was my first gun that I had ever purchased. And, but anyway, they found the gun, the ammo, and inside of a cold air return in the house, they found a hidden hard drive. Now, you know when you open up your hard drive, your computer, you got folders inside? There were 2 folders. Well, inside those 2 folders was the file. The file was called VICS, VIX, short for victims. So they open up that folder and they find 2 other folders inside. One had Jessica's initials. The other one had Rebecca's initials. They open up the folders. All that was inside these were like their missing flyers and their rewards and photos of them that the news had. I have no freaking idea why he even had these on a hard drive. That to me made no sense. I was worried that they were going to bring up some stuff like really bad, like he was watching them and had photos of them before he took or footage of what he did to them. But no, all it was the photos that the news had used and the flyers and stuff. He still had access to his deceased grandfather's home. And they found a lot of empty bleach bottles when they went to that house to search. All these empty bleach bottles were there. Now, they talked to his wife. His wife had no idea about this other life he had. None. His cousin named Kevin Bloom got questioned, as well as other family members of his, to see if they knew anything or if they could get any more information out of him. Bloom was a corrections officer at a local prison there. He tells the cops he had a dream, and the dream was about a gun that Jeffrey had, and he may have touched it. He's telling them this because he's thinking they're gonna find his fingerprints on the gun. So they give him a polygraph. He fails the polygraph. He claimed that Jeffrey told him he killed Jessica. So they questioned him further. Now that very well could be true. He said that he saw a body at their grandfather's house, and he helped him move her body. So Kevin Bloom helped him move her body to his van. And then they both buried her. Now, he knew where she was. So he told them he knew where she was, and they took him there to find her. Now, they dig up the area. They get the cadaver dogs. They do all this. All this costs so many thousands of dollars, and like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, there's no body there. He says, well, I forgot. And then he says, all right, I made it up. I'm lying. What in the world? It was all a lie. He said he wasn't there at all. He was never in that area. Well, he was convicted of lying. Now, this was so dumb. He was convicted of lying, so he was in jail. All that money that it cost them to do this. So Rebecca Blech, I got to make sure I'm saying her name right. Rebecca Blech, her sister went to talk to him. He lied. Of course, this Bloom guy, Kevin Bloom, he told her he lied, but she didn't find out much from him. She thought he knew more. Actually, I'm not sure exactly how much money this cost. I was thinking it was thousands. I'm sure it was very, very expensive, but I was wrong on that amount. Sorry. There's a reason I was wrong on that amount. It just hit me. So, I don't want anybody to come at me and say it did not cost that much, but it costs a lot of money doing that. It's a lot of time and money that the police are doing this, and he lied for some stupid reason. So, Jeffrey goes to trial in Rebecca's case. Now, Rebecca was the one that was found dead in the road, and that's why that one, he's being prosecuted for her case. Kevin Bloom was to testify, but he took the fifth. He took the fifth and didn't say anything. So, he's on the stand, takes the fifth, won't say anything. Oh my gosh. Jeffrey Willis looked totally different when he was on trial. He was thin, he lost weight, he was more clean cut, had glasses, just looked like just a regular nice guy. He took the stand in his own defense, which is very rare. Now, in Michigan, I know I got this written down somewhere, so I'm going to try not to repeat it, but I guess if you get life in prison, you have no chance of parole. You get life in prison, you're stuck there. And he takes the stand. Well, no one said he was smart, but he said, he was home cutting the grass the day that Rebecca got killed, and his wife could verify it. So his wife testifies, but says she couldn't remember, and at this time they're divorced. All this time had passed, and she's like, she don't remember it. She don't remember if he was cutting the grass at that time or not. Then they asked him about the case in the car that had all that stuff in it, the syringes and the rope and the all of the adult toys and stuff. He blamed his grandson for getting into that case with all that stuff in it, so he had to move it to the van. And he just laughed it off. It's kind of a funny story. My grandson was getting into that. What? You're going to blame your Oh my God. I mean, the more this went, the more horrible things came out about this guy. Well, the jury deliberated for 90 minutes, and he was found guilty of first-degree murder of Rebecca Bletch. Now, they tried him actually in Jessica's murder, even with no body. They still haven't found her body, and they try him for that. So, Madison testified at this one about her escape from his minivan. And I don't know if she testified at both trials, but she testified at this one, and Jeffrey Willis was found guilty of first-degree murder. Murder. And there's no body. Now, that I'm very, very happy of that, because they had all this evidence linked to the evidence from her abduction to Rebecca's murder to Madison, which was attempted murder on Madison. He requested, now this really made me mad, he requested to leave the court when the families come in to give their statements, their impact statements. He was such a coward. He didn't want to be in there. Poor baby. You don't want to sit there and listen to their victim, their impact statements. Oh my gosh. So they let him. They let him leave the court, that is not right. He should have to sit there and take that. And get this, on his way out of the courtroom, he looked back at the family members of the victims, blew him a kiss. I'm telling you what, it would have taken all I had to go after that SOB. I mean, it would have taken all I had. But this is what he did. He blew him the kiss right before he went out the door. But when he was on his way in the, I say paddy wagon, I'm pretty sure, van, paddy wagon, whatever, they took him in from the court to the prison. They played the victim's impact statements right there in the van, so he had to listen to it on his way, and they played them over and over. So they recorded him and did that. Now, there is a law now, Rebecca Bletch law. Prisoners have to be in the courtroom while the families are reading their victim and the impact statement to them. They have to be there. That is Rebecca Bletch law. There was also a Jessica's law that went into effect December 9th of 2013. All gas stations and convenience stores that are open between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. they need to have a security camera system installed, or have 2 employees working at those hours. If this is not done, they are going to be fined not more than $200 for every violation. So they got that. So there are some good things that have come out of this. Jessica's remains still not found. So there is a Facebook page, Find Jessica Heeringa. It's Heeringa. Heeringa. I couldn't read my handwriting at the beginning, and I said Heeringa, but it's Jessica Heeringa. And I apologize for that. Gosh, I feel so bad. Then the area where Rebecca was killed, there's a memorial up by the road, and it is beautiful. There's a beautiful cross and a plaque on that road, on Automobile Road. And all this took place in the same county. And through all these years, he still had that same silver minivan. That surprises me the most out of this. 3 years in this whole 3-year span, he still had that silver minivan. Which I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised he did not get rid of it and get a new vehicle. But, same county. He's from this county. And all this time, he eluded the police up until Madison got away from him. Eventually, I hate to say it, but eventually, yeah, maybe he would have been caught, but still, she is very lucky, and I'm so glad that she helped put him away. Oh my gosh, what a story! But I've had the Jessica Heeringa case in my list of cases to do, because she was still missing. But I'm so glad that I had found out this information on the other victims of his, because this is just what a horrible, horrible person to be. I don't even want to call him a person. And to have this double life this whole time, and his wife had no idea. It's amazing. You think you know somebody, you know what? You really don't know them. But, anyway, I wanted to talk about a new podcast. I have a shout out. New podcast. Well, it's not new, but I just found it, so it's kind of new to me. Crime and Coffee Couple. I really like their podcast. It doesn't sound like she's reading. It's a couple, so the wife is reading, and it doesn't sound like she's reading, which I like. And they just did their newest episode is Under the Bridge, and that's actually a series on Hulu I started watching, but I'm not through very much of it yet. And it's the story about the girl. Her name is Heeringa, and she was in Canada. This is a Canada case, and it's kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Mean Girl kind of murder, where she gets killed by other girls her age, bullying and all that, and then she gets murdered. And I don't want to give it away, but because if you have Hulu, check it out. I've watched, I think, 3 episodes so far. It's pretty good so far. I was kind of confused at the beginning. I think it kind of got off on a slow start, and it's one of those where it goes back and forth. So it'll show the investigation, and then it'll go back and show her life, like when she first met the girls, and it kind of part of it. The girls that she hangs around with are in a foster home. It's very strange, her home life, to understand her home life, because she went into the foster home herself because things that were going on at home and the way her parents were with her. But, so if you got Hulu, check that out, because so far it is a pretty good series. It's a limited series. I'm also reading or listening on Audible the book called The Lost Girls, which is the story of the Cleveland kidnappings. I was not going to do that case because it's so well known. I try to do cases that are less known. Oh my gosh, but there's things I didn't know about. If I ever did this case, it's going to be very, very hard for me to get through. Reading this, or listening to this, I should say listening to this book, I have learned the living conditions. It's the way it's described. I don't understand. I don't know how those girls made it in that place all those years. And extreme heat, extreme cold. I mean, it just makes me so angry listening to this. But I am also going to listen to the book that the girls came out with. Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus wrote a book together and Michelle Knight, who now changed her name. She changed her name, Lily Rose Lee. She has also, I think, one or maybe two books. But I'm going to listen. And I also have the J.C. Dugard story downloaded. And it's very strange because, in a way, it's kind of ironic because they do mention the J.C. Dugard story in The Lost Girls. Because that actually was going on when she was found while these girls were missing. So, I remember when both those cases happened, and it was just amazing to find girls who were taken. It was amazing to find them alive years later. That's something that you rarely ever hear about, but it started creating hope for families who still had their kids missing. So, oh my gosh. I mean, it's a good book. It's a good book so far, but it makes me so angry what he did to them. So angry, especially Michelle Knight, who was the first one. Oh, to go to. I just cannot describe. Like I said, if I ever did this story, it would be very, very hard for me to get through. If anybody is interested in me doing that, let me know, because I'll be taking it from the book and other things that I've learned about it. And it would probably be one that's kind of long. I want to see the movie. There's a movie about this, but every time I go to find it, I got to pay for it. Either on Amazon Prime I got to pay for. I can't get it on Netflix. It says it's not available. So I don't know. I don't know. I would like to get a hold of it. But anyway, that is your episode for this week. I hope everybody has... It's rainy here. Very rainy, but it's nice to hear the sounds of the rain. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful May so far, and that you're getting good weather and the flowers are coming up. And I don't like it hot, but today was perfect because it was in the 60s. So I just want to let everybody know I am doing well. I've just been so busy trying to get episodes out, and I've got to think of what to do for the next. I've got a couple different ones in mind for the next bonus episode on Patreon. So you get 3 bonus episodes a month, and that's my goal, to make 3 bonus episodes a month. And most of the time you get early access to these, like 2 or 3 days earlier. And then I upload usually every Friday, unless I'm super busy, and then I upload on Saturday. But I try to get these out every Friday, and that is $5 only. You get all of my episodes, all of my bonus episodes. There's over 20 bonus episodes on there right now, plus my novel, Stranded in Time, which is a murder mystery time travel novel from the 70s. So, that is all for today. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.